My father is 75 years old, and for 50 years he has been a fisherman, working from 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. What is Enzo Maresca trying to say here? Is he saying that footballers have it easy? Is he saying footballers should stop whinging and just play football? Or I think, in my opinion, he's saying that, playing football can't be that hard. So maybe players like Sterling and Disasi should stop complaining. Now, we're going to talk about how I feel about the situation on a human level and obviously on a professional level. But hey, we're looking ahead to the Premier League game, which we are going to play against United at the Old Trafford. Now, if you know the history, you know that we haven't won in this ground for I don't even know how many years or seasons. But I think this is the time. Do you know what? I'll start by saying this. I was worried, I was looking at the internet because, United haven't been performing very well. Amorim, we don't even get me started. However, they seem to fire coaches just before we face them. They seem to do something like that. I remember last season, I was celebrating that, we are going to play against Ten Hag. And then they literally fired him just before the Chelsea game. And then Van Nistelrooy came in, and then we had a draw or something like that. I can't remember. But we haven't won in the Old Trafford for a very long time. So could this be the time? United looking vulnerable. But at the same time as well, Chelsea Football Club hasn't been the same since the Club World Cup. I know at the back end of last season, we were playing really, really well. Then we'll move on to obviously winning the Conference League. Then we want to win the Club World Cup. But ever since, yes, we haven't lost a game in the Premier League. But when you look at our performances, they have not been impressing either. So the question is, could we pick up our performance from the United game? Or we just gone never win at the Old Trafford ground? I don't know. But I do think, and I have a feeling that this is the time. And also, when you look at the way we played against Bayern Munich, it was our fault that we ended up conceding 3 goals, an own goal, a penalty, and again, a defensive error from Malo Gusto. So I do think that going into the United game, I don't think United will punish you as much as Bayern did in the Champions League because, quality different. Now, another reason that I think we would win this game is also because we need to bounce back from that loss. Obviously, we need to. And another reason as well, when you look at the midfield battle, I think that's where the game is going to be won. Now, United defensive, I would say it's a little bit better than ours, even though they've conceded so many goals. But I think it's not due to their defense only. It's also due to their midfield. I do think that their midfield is not good as compared to our midfield. So maybe in that midfield battle, that's when the match is going to get won. I'm not sure if Lavia is back. I know Caicedo is fit, Enzo is fit, Adri Santos is fit, Cole Palmer, whether he wants to be utilized as a 10 or he want to be utilized as a winger, we'll get to see. Estevao, can he come in as a substitute? I'm not sure. Garnacho, can he start? In my opinion, I actually want to start. I want him to start. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but when we were linked to Garnacho for a longest time, I was coming here and saying all the types of shit you can think of. And now I'm actually the one saying maybe Garnacho should start. Why am I saying that? It's not because I do believe Garnacho is that much of a good player. I think it's decent. But I also say that to say Gittens hasn't been good. Has not been good. And I think he's still trying to pick it up to the Premier League pace and everything. Whereas for Garnacho, he has played in the Premier League for a couple seasons. And I do think that if you want to win a game against United at the Old Trafford, you have to play him. You have to play, not because he's your best player, but we're talking about the ones available. I do think that, he has to play. He has to play. And then we move on to, obviously, our attack. Obviously, fucking Delap is injured. So that leaves us with who? McGee and João Pedro. And let me say this about João Pedro. Every time I see that guy playing, I want him to play behind the strike. I want him to play as a 10. Even as a winger, I'm not sure. But when he does play behind the striker, he actually gives you more than when he does play as a striker. Now, he can be clinical, of course, but I do think that if you play him deeper, he is able to win those fouls, those duels, like he's a shitbag, and you know what he can do. Now, when you play him as a 9, you already know the number 9s, except for Jackson, which again, he was a false 9. They don't really get much possession as compared to, the midfielders, attacking midfielders, the wingers. And if you want to utilize, him and his ability or quality, you have to get him on the ball quite often. So him as a 9, I don't think can work. But because Dilap is injured, I don't think Maresca really trusts Maguire to make him an out-and-out striker, which also is a good player because he does press high, press heavily, so to the opponent. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but we go back to our defense. I actually don't think our defense is that bad. Obviously, we lost Colwill due to injury, but I do think that Chalobah and Tosin can cover that, and Tosin also brings you height. Right back, Rhys James, Malo Gusto, whichever you start. Left back, Cucurella, no problem with that. So yeah, I do think that this is the time that we have to, that we gotta go to Old Trafford and actually win. Now let's go back to this statement about Maresca. My father is 75 years old, and for 50 years he has been a fisherman, working from 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. I do think that he's saying this. Obviously, is referring to the Sterling and Disasi situation that, they're not playing with the team, they're in the reserves. I don't know what they're doing. They're playing, in separation to the, obviously, first team players. I think he's insinuating that players should stop complaining because there are other people out there with heavier and harder jobs to do. I'm not sure if Maresca is saying that his father works as a fisherman or he does it because he likes to fish. I'm not sure. But on a human level, obviously, it's never nice. When you come to your club, you're expecting yourself to, to play and train and play. But when you get banned from the first team, and you don't even train with the rest of the team, you don't even eat with the rest of the team, you don't even see the manager that signs you, or partially, I don't think on a human level it's nice. But if I was listening to Simon Jordan on TalkSport, he was talking about some of these players, like Sterling, he could have left the club and actually go to Saudi Arabia. He could have gone to Fulham. He could have gone to, I don't know, other teams below, obviously Chelsea. But then they don't want to lower their wages. We have seen this from Jadon Sancho and a bit of Anthony. We have seen this with him, Sterling. He is on big wages and he doesn't want to leave because he wants to earn that money. If he goes to a club besides Chelsea, he's going to earn way less money than he's earning right now. So if he's putting money ahead of his career in terms of playing, then that's his fault. That's not the club's fault. Because I'm pretty sure Chelsea would like to get rid of him in terms of their wage bill. So on a human level, it's not nice, but also professionally, he can play football. He can literally terminate his contract and be on the free agents and get hired or bought, whatever, by another team. So yeah, it's a mixture. What else did you talk about? Garnacho starting. I think we talk about that. Oh, the other thing that I'll just touch base on is the because you got asked if Cole Palmer or Estevao can play as a 10 and which one he trusts more to play as a 10, and he said they both can play there. Cole Palmer can play as a 10, but I think if you want to utilize him more on the ball, you got to put him on the wing. Give him much more space to dribble past players to, I don't know. And then Estevao at the same time, same thing. He's the player that is willing to take on his man, take on his players, take on his opponents. So you'd rather utilize him on the wing as well. However, he said he's only 18 years old, so you kind of have to give him time to really adjust to the league, to the team, to the style of play, and the environment as well. But they both can play there. Personally, I want to see them on the wing. So, which is the reason why I wanted Javi Simons, because you could have played him as a 10 and then get these guys to play as wingers, which, we have so many wingers. Pedro Neto is still there. Gittins is still there. We got Tyreek George is still there. I don't like him as a 9, by the way. I like him as a 7. Sorry, as a 9. Sorry, as 11. Left wing, by the way. So, yeah, man. We'll see tomorrow. I do think we'll win, though. I think if we really turn up like we can do, will win the game tomorrow. My prediction before I close the video, I'm gonna go with fucking 2-1 because I do think Chelsea are capable of conceding a goal. So I'm gonna go 2-1. 2-1 Chelsea. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.